So this is zoning board of appeals. No, sorry, we're ready.
Recording in progress.
Zoning board of appeals, Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. We're calling the meeting to order. We're going to continue the public hearing from April 30th. Melissa Avidian, petitioner, 0 Old Worcester Road, applied for special permit / variance. I just want to state for the record that in accordance with the Mullins rule, I have watched the official video recording I've missed one session, watched the missed hearing session and the video recording. I've read the transcript / minutes and documentation provided by the zoning enforcement officer, and I'll put in a sheet signed by me stating that under the pains and penalties of perjury for the record. So it should go in the record. Okay, so the last meeting, you guys had already closed the public portion of the meeting. You're in discussion. Do you want to continue that discussion? Not all at once.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, because
I mean, so we've discussed it. Did you want to weigh in with your thoughts after?
All right,
reviewing?
so, my thing is, after I watched the video, read everything, I think that there is in my opinion, the hardship aspect of it is at issue with me. So, granted, this is not something that the petitioner created by any means, but, the fact that she's left with this lot, where would the hardship be? I mean, the lot is roughly the same kind of configuration as other lots on that street. It's not unique, vastly unique at all. Like, where would, if we say we grant the variance for 50 feet, she can build a house on it, but if we don't grant the variance, she can't. I mean, that's not, in my mind, necessarily
yeah,
I empathize with, like, you own a piece of land now that you can't really do anything with, but that's, I'm not 100% sold on no, but right now I'm not sold on yes either in any way.
no, I was thinking about it. I even drove by, and it's it's right on Old Worcester Road, and they're all very tiny slots there,
Right.
but it's agricultural. That's how it's zoned. So that's the issue, is it just doesn't fit within that zoning. And the hardship was kind of, I didn't see it. It seemed like it was just someone forgot to dot their I's and cross their T's at the bank, and then by virtue of that, it became available. So without us doing anything, the lot remains empty.
Yeah.
So there's no benefit, but I don't see a hardship.
Margo, what's your,
I don't. Yeah, I don't know, but I guess so, yeah. Because someone didn't follow through, like you're saying, with the paperwork, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a hardship.
yeah, I mean, if you feel differently, that's absolutely fine. I mean, if you think that, like, hey, look, this woman had a tough time, and, and this is gonna be, the way I kind of looking at it right now is like, it was like this since 1971 when the lot was created and there was no house built. Like, what's gonna change now, Rick, what do you think?
I just think that just because the lots were drawn up at a time when, the zoning rules were not in effect,
Yeah,
that,
this was I think, what zoning went into
Yeah.
effect, 86 in Charlton?
yeah. it was-
84?
I mean, well
87?
before.
Yeah.
you
So
know,
this lot was in existence probably 15 or 16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, again, I look at it as there's nothing detrimental here by allowing this person to build a house on this street.
Right.
I mean, it certainly fits into the character, that the lot was designed to be built upon, and,
Yeah, I definitely don't think that if we granted a variance, that there would be any detriment to the neighborhood at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
and-
the four house lots next to it are each have 100 feet of frontage. I looked up and down the road, that varies anywhere between 125 to like 175 feet of frontage is the average between most of those lots. I mean, there's
Yeah,
definite variations and there's some more. There was the only four that I saw that were the 100 were the ones that are.
yeah,
four that are
right in
next
a
to it.
row there, yeah.
So, and like I said, I don't necessarily think there's any detriment to this, but I just, that's the problem that I have, you know?
Well,
Is there any rationale on like the amount of frontage for that type of zoning
It's what the town decides.
arbitrarily?
So it goes before town meeting has a vote on accepting a change to the bylaw, and that's how it is, so it's a town meeting type thing.
yeah,
So if the town,
But at town meeting, they make, the planning board makes a recommendation.
they make a recommendation, well, we could do the same thing. I mean, we could make a recommendation as well. Any board or individual person could make a recommendation on any of that if they wanted to.
Right.
And as long as they follow the proper procedure, would go to town meeting. But ultimately, the zoning bylaw is approved by town meeting, and then we just grant relief off of that.
yeah, because if it was
as-
residential, it wouldn't be an issue.
If it was a different zone, it might not be an issue, but it's an agricultural zone.
Right, but I'm saying if it was
Right.
zoned residential,
Right.
then it would, you would be able to build on it.
Right, right. But, I mean, when they put that plan, when they put that zoning bylaw together, you would hope that it wasn't just arbitrary,
Oh,
that there
yeah.
was
No, no,
some
no.
thought behind how they laid out the zones.
Sure.
Yeah, because otherwise, why not make everything 5,000 square feet and build whatever you want,
Right.
Yeah.
And this is definitely, it's a very unique set of four houses in a row.
Right, but they were all created well before zoning even was a thing in Charlton. I think the lot that's 96 Old Worcester Road, that lot was created in the 50s or the 60s. That was well before this
Wow,
lot was
yeah.
created after that, and then deeded to the current owner of 96. And then in 71, I think, and then it stayed as contiguous until, the bank foreclosed on it in 2019.
Right.
So you're looking at almost 50 years that those two are together.
So the whole, what really comes down is like, I tried to boil it down to the two things. Like, we have to, there has to be a hardship for us to grant a variance.
Right.
And that's the one thing I don't see. And while there certainly is a benefit to not having that lot empty, having something built on it, the taxes and everything for the town,
Yeah.
are we strictly have to go by the fact that there's a hardship present in order to grant a variance?
That's what the statute says. The statute says there has to be something contributing to the topography, soil, condition, or whatever,
No.
right? That supposes a financial hardship, financial or otherwise, that's what Mass General laws say,
Yeah.
right? So those are the circumstances that we would need, that we should be following. So, well, we have to follow, I should say.
Yeah, my feeling was, the planning board set the zoning up, they made these recommendations.
Yeah,
And for new construction, I felt like we should stick to the recommendations.
yeah,
If somebody wants to go ask them to change them,
right.
awesome.
And our board is here to say, okay, there's a situation that there's no possible way that we can meet those recommendations, given, the way our lot is. But is what's before us, is that the case?
I mean, I think the hardship is the fact that these lots were created before the zoning was in effect, right? So this area was subdivided prior to the zoning being put into place. And I think otherwise, it's a perfectly viable lot, given that the general vicinity is that there are houses on lots of that exact same size.
Right.
So, I mean,
If this,
You know,
if the
if-
doctrine of merger didn't apply in this case, if it wasn't in contiguous ownership and zoning hadn't changed or gone into effect since 86 or 87,
Right.
we probably wouldn't be here today.
yeah.
So it's just the fact that the bank did not, the bank separated them.
No, the bank didn't separate them, the bank just didn't foreclose on one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she still owned both of the lots.
Yeah.
It's just that the bank only took their security on one of the two lots. So when they recorded their mortgage,
Yeah.
and for whatever reason they did that, it could have been that the attorney made an error and didn't include both lots. It could have been the appraiser, I mean, you've seen this, Jason, the appraiser goes out and there's more than one lot, the appraiser says, well, you know, there's plenty of value in lot A, I don't need to include lot B, and so the appraisal doesn't include it. So then the bank comes back and says, well, the appraisal wasn't in the appraisal, so you can't put it in the mortgage now. Or they could have just said, hey, look, there's plenty of value in one lot, so we're just gonna leave the other lot for you free and clear, not knowing that it's not buildable, you know what I mean? Could have been a number of things, and that happens too, you see that happen once in a
Well,
while.
I had one in Southbridge, and it's not the same case. They purposely, when they refinanced, they purposely split up the
Right,
security.
right.
They knew what they were doing before they went to the bank.
Yep, they,
And the-
and I've
and the-
done that before,
And the
yeah.
attorney supported it, and
Yep.
the bank had no idea.
No. I mean, if, as long as it meets the value, the bank doesn't care, you know, if they have to foreclose, they'll get their money back, that's what they really care about most, so who knows why they did that.
Am I allowed to talk at all, or?
We accept a question
Yeah.
by Jay?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Go ahead, yeah.
Jason Dubois from DC Engineering and Survey. Like you said, the bank took over the house that, just for the note, was on
Yeah.
that parcel only. It wasn't done intentional by the current owner.
Yeah,
You know, she does have a medical condition, the house was foreclosed on. I'm just curious, like, if the variance is not granted and the taxes are not paid, the town's gonna take over this lot, and then it's gonna probably be happening over and over again, where someone else is gonna try, you know, the town is gonna want the land, so aren't they gonna try and auction it off?
I have no idea.
And then somebody's gonna be back in front of
I
you
have
again
no
trying to get a
idea, Jay,
variance.
what the tax status is of this lot
I'm
at
just
all.
saying, I don't know
Yeah.
that the taxes will continue to be
Yeah.
paid if it's not worth anything to the
Right,
to
right,
the
I
owner.
understand, yeah,
And I mean,
Yeah.
I know other, you know, I know variances are granted for, you know, land area as well.
yeah.
And,
I think that if, and this is up to the board, but, you know, if it looks like that there's not enough votes there to do that, I think that, that we would probably just either, you know, have the petitioner maybe ask to withdraw, that way if there's something else that came up, they could re-petition without the 2-year statute of limitations applying.
something else could come up, you said?
Yeah, let's say there's another argument or whatever, or, you know, that wasn't brought forth, or, you know, there's some other, I don't know.
Yeah.
They were able to work something out with somebody else, the neighbor, or, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, there's no additional frontage available on either side, so there's no frontage that could be added to it.
Yeah.
It over exceeds the area, you know, it's got more than the required area for that zone. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah, I
just-
saw that, yeah, it meets everything else except
Yeah.
for the frontage.
Except for the
I
front.
mean,
Yeah.
not that far from that area is a village district that only requires 80 feet.
Yeah, I
And you can
know.
put up a two-family.
Yeah,
So it's, you know, it's kind of,
I mean, I think we all feel the same way, that's probably appropriate for the lot, but just, where's the hardship and? the
yeah,
zoning
and that's the
doesn't
thing,
meet it.
I just,
So if Mr. Du Bois gets to speak, then I'm gonna speak.
I think that's acceptable, Mr. Meskis.
The village district is nowhere close to this property.
I'm not saying it's abutting it, but it's, I mean, it's on L. Stevens Road, you know. it's not-
Yeah, it's not even within 1,000 feet, so what's happened here is this has become an orphaned lot, and I don't see any reason why this person should be rewarded by making it a buildable lot, because it was orphaned. It should have been carried together. I wrote a letter to the previous owner in 2003 and told them that it was not a separate buildable lot. And that information has been relayed repeatedly to people who have had interest in this lot. So,
So there's no other means of either absorbing it into being one joint lot and doing something with it for the owner?
well, it should have never been separated from 96.
But an adjacent owner could purchase a lot and expand their lot.
Yeah.
They just can't build on it.
Well, if they had enough frontage that they could create two lots. So say the house to the left had 200 and something feet of frontage, they could acquire this lot, redraw their property line, and as long as they had 175 feet twice, 350 feet, they could make it a buildable lot. And this owner, if there was additional frontage available bought from the property to the left, could make it a conforming lot. And then, and without making the lot to the left non-conforming, could do the same thing.
The only issue is that both lots are both undersized. Well, the lot to the left has 175, so there's no additional, and the lot to the right only has 100, which is even less than this lot, so they wouldn't be able to add any frontage.
So unless someone's playing Monopoly and buys up
There's no way to,
each lot, like.
well, there's two
for
houses
three.
there now, there's not enough frontage to make three no matter what you do.
Or they wanted to put in a pool and they said, oh, let me buy the lot next door.
Right, okay.
So they could expand their lot
Yeah.
without necessarily putting two houses on it or dividing it. Yeah, it comes down, I don't see the hardship. That's on the part of the homeowner. It was not, it wasn't made clear that there was a hardship.
I find myself in agreement,
Okay.
just saying.
Yeah. So, in the past, and this is up to the board, if it looked like that, so if the board votes and we deny the variance, that the lot they can't come back before us for 2 years. In the past, if it looked that way, we would certainly try to give the petitioner the opportunity to withdraw the petition. That way, if something changed, there was some other thing, they wanted to come back, the law changed, whatever, that they weren't prevented for 2 years from doing that. But that's up to the board if they want to do that or not, or want to just have a straight out vote.
Does she need to be here, or?
I don't know. Jay, did you provide something in writing that you were gonna be
I
your
just had her-
representative?
She just signed the application. She was supposed to be here, but again, she has a medical condition, so I don't know.
Okay. When's the day that we actually have to make a decision by on this?
June 21st,
Do we have any other applications pending?
not yet. There's supposed to be one coming in, the guy called last week, but I don't have it yet. So no guarantee.
Say we vote.
Do you wanna vote?
I mean, I'd prefer to let her withdraw it, but it doesn't sound like it makes sense to extend.
I agreed, I mean, petitioner's not here. I mean, there's there's no reason to continue it. I mean, we continued it to have, other board members have a say and weigh in, and
Yeah.
we had that opportunity, so I think,
I don't think that I changed, like, my 2 cents probably didn't make that much of a difference for you guys.
No, it did, I
Yeah.
mean, I was wrestling with it, and because by all intents and purposes,
And,
you
and the
don't
thing
wanna
is,
see
like,
it.
I empathize, like, this is an unfortunate circumstance, and I just trying to find out, I watched the video twice in the past couple of days to make sure. If we do have a vote, then just the 4 of you vote, and however that falls would be sufficient, I think, under the statute. I don't think I necessarily need to add in, because the 4 of you were here at the time of the vote, so the original meeting. So if I vote or not, it's not gonna make any difference, I think.
Alright. But I appreciate you being here, and
Well, I think that's the first meeting I missed in, like 10 years or something like that.
wow,
Yeah.
don't let it happen again.
Yeah, I feel like this is a more fair, like, we talked about it again, we all thought about it,
Yeah,
so I think it's more fair, because I was a no last time,
yeah,
and I didn't know if that was fair with everybody being out,
right.
so I think we're,
So does someone want to make a motion then? Do we want to continue? What do you want to do?
I'll make a motion, to vote.
Okay, so we would make a motion to grant the variance, and a yes vote would grant, and a no vote would deny the variance.
Okay,
That's the way it would need to go.
all right, so.
So where's the
That's a
original
little-
petition?
The original petition. I think I have a copy of it
Got
here.
it here. Okay. I can make the motion.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I'll motion to grant the variance, as requested by the petitioner for 50 feet of relief on the frontage requirement. Finding of facts, property's equivalent size or larger than other properties in the vicinity, and house will fit on the lot with the size and shape. However, the frontage requirement not meeting spec due to the fact that the properties were drawn prior to zoning. Relief may be granted because there's no detriment to the public good, having a house built on that property as it fits into the current state of the neighborhood.
Okay, so,
Second.
as a second on the motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
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 So the motion doesn't carry, the variance is denied. So Jay, there's nothing that gets filed or anything on a denial.
Yep.
If, Blaze wants to appeal, then, just have him get the record from, the clerk and, I don't know what the appeal period is. I don't know if it's the same 20 days or not.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, that's it.
All right. Thank you, for coming in again.
Sorry,
right.
sorry about that.
Yep, thanks.
Appreciate you
Yeah,
coming.
we definitely feel for her.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Okay, so, there's two sets of, do you guys review the minutes from January 16th, 2024 at the
I
last
was
meeting?
absent.
What?
We didn't have enough people,
Oh, okay.
because I was absent, so I couldn't. sign.
Okay, so we'll review the minutes from January 16th, 2024. Is there any comments on those minutes?
No comments, motion to accept the minutes as written?
A second on, I second that motion.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
January 16th minutes carries. I wasn't here for April 30th, so any comment on the minutes from April 30th?
No comments, motion to accept the minutes as written.
Second on the motion?
Second.
Second by Marco. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion, minutes carry. Other business not known at the time of the publication. The only thing that I wanna just mention, and I know we've discussed this a while ago, and it kinda fell off a little bit, but, I think in terms of our application, at the next meeting, I'm gonna provide a new application. That, the application that we have is definitely from like 1987, so I don't think it's been updated since then. I think it's been updated, I just think we just keep adding on to it instead of actually doing a complete revision.
I thought we, didn't we?
We started looking at it, but then it kinda dropped off.
Ah,
There was some change in the membership at that point, because Brian Avery was on the board. He was kinda looking at it, but then he left the board, because I think he left, he moved out of town. So we're definitely gonna do that. So I'll put together in Word, the next meeting I'll have the application as it is now, and then I'll prepare a revised one for everyone to kinda take a look at and go through, and if we need to make additional changes and vote on that, we'll do that.
Okay. Is that something they provide ahead of time, or just bring it to the meeting?
But no, well, the application's online, so you can look at that anytime you want.
Okay,
But our
the
application,
draft, I mean.
no, I'm gonna play around with it.
Okay.
Yeah, the application we have now is at least 7 or 8 pages. it's kind of
Yeah, kinda
like
repetitive, it's
choppy,
weird,
yeah.
it's hard to go
And then
through.
some of the stuff, like if you're applying for a special permit, like you provide information for a special permit, but then if you do a variance, you provide the same information on another page.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's just kinda,
It could be
like we can just
consolidated a little bit.
consolidate it and like, this is the information we need for everything. And then if you're applying for a section for a variance, then just give us this additional, if it's a special permit, we want this additional information, so. It doesn't need to be like all the information for one, and then all the information again, and then all the information again, so. All right, so, it's, what time is it right now? 7:30. All right, we have 35 minutes to get back. For Game 1, Celtics versus the Indiana Pacers. Does someone want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Jason, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.